Lifestyle Grind and Grow Yoga, and in today's Return to Basics practice, we're going to look at goddess pose and squat pose. If you have pillows, blankets, or blocks, grab them and let's hop on our mat. So in this series so far, we've looked at some seated postures and some standing postures. There are two common ways to move from standing to seated and vice versa. One is our forward fold, because then you can put the hands down on the mat and move that way. The other is going to be squat. So to start, we're going to come into goddess pose, because goddess is kind of a standing squat. Traditionally, we have our toes all the way out. We have our knees all the way bent, coming down to have our legs at a 90-degree angle. And then our shoulders are all the way back, elbows are down, fingers are reaching towards the sky. So this is our goddess posture. Goddess can hurt a couple places. One would obviously be the groin and underneath the legs. The other would be our shoulders and our low back. So there's a tendency to kind of stick the butt back when we come down. We really want our tailbone tending towards the ground. So my first suggestion is to try to do goddess against the wall. So you're allowing your shoulders to hit the wall, your low back to hit the wall, and slowly coming down into that posture, making sure your alignment is correct that way. The other thing people tend to do is to allow the knees to come in. If that's the case, you're going to want to make sure that your toes are more towards the front of the mat so you can protect the knees and ankles, making sure they're in line over each other. Because you want your knees to be going out over the ankles, but you want them to be tending towards your toes. So I can see my big toe and part of my second toe, but I can't see the rest of my toes because my knees are coming out over. Whereas if my knees were coming forward, I can see all my toes, and this is a lot of pressure on the knees. If you have tightness in the shoulders, bringing the arms down even more, or bringing the arms out or to the hips is an option for you. But already having the arms down like this should relieve a lot of pressure on the neck from having them up. We've already created more space in the upper back and shoulder area. We often go from goddess pose to either a wide leg forward fold or our warriors, but sometimes we also come down to squat. So traditionally, our yogic squat is that we come all the way down, our feet and heels are flat on the mat, our back is all the way straight, and our chest is lifted. So you'll notice that my heels come up. It's not consistent from practice to practice. It depends how tight you are. But you can either roll up your yoga mat, so by putting your yoga mat over, or use a blanket or towel underneath the heels. That way they're firmly on the blanket or towel. I can send my tailbone back and down, and I have that connection with the ground and can work on lifting up out of the posture and into my spine. The other thing which I commonly recommend is to use your block, because your block can be many different heights. So maybe you're really close and you can scoot your feet out and be down on this level, and this is much more comfortable. I'm getting more of a stretch through the groin, more of a stretch through the chest and low back. The only thing I'm not really working on is balance. Or maybe you still have a little bit further to go, so you're up more like this, or you're on our highest height here. And you'll notice I do have to bring my legs to different places depending how far up I am to make sure that the knees and ankles are stable. But regardless, there are many ways that you can modify your squat to work for you. So either you're in goddess, and when we come to squat, you can't really squat, so you're just coming into a deeper goddess. You can have your block ready to come from that goddess posture down to your block. So we really want to make sure that the spine has the length, that we're being cognizant of the knees and the ankles, and whether we have the flexibility in our hips to keep both our knees and back safe. So I hope that helped. If you enjoyed this video, check out the rest of my Return to Basics series. Also make sure you're subscribed so you know when a new video comes out. And leave a comment below if there's a particular type of yoga pose or breathing exercise that you are interested in learning more about. Remember to keep grounding down into your strengths and growing as an individual. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.